Hey guys, this video we are going to continue with example 1 in section 7.2. So let me go and find that really quickly. We did all of the inverse functions already, so here we go. Okay, so 7.2, the inverse trigonometric functions continue. That means it's now we are going to deal with secant, cosecant, and cotangent. Okay, 7.1 was sine, cosine, and tangent. So here we go. Find the exact value. First, we want to do the inner component first. It's a tangent inverse, so right away, I'm going to write this equation. Y equals tangent inverse of x, okay? Because it's a tangent inverse, we have restriction. The domain of a tangent inverse is always all real. The range of the tangent inverse was the restricted, excuse me, quadrants that we limited to in class. So we limit it from negative pi over 2 all the way to pi over 2. So when I look at x, which is half, okay, half is x, x is range, so I know that it's going to have an answer. Since half is a real number, I know that, hey, whatever answer it is, I'm gonna have one. So that's exciting on its own, right? But now I have to figure out, what is this answer? What is this angle that I need to find? Because in 7.1, we were used to doing this, right? Tangent of what is a half? Okay, so that was the question that we needed to answer in quadrant in 7.1. Well, could you tell me in between quad 1 and 4, tangent of what? Tangent of what is a half? Well, let's narrow down to a particular quadrant, okay? Would you agree that whatever answer it is, it has to come from quadrant 1 because it's a positive half, right? So here we go. Positive 1. I don't know what the answer is. Whatever theta is, I know opposite is 1. Hypotenuse is a 2, okay? Well, this doesn't look like an angle that you know from your unit circle, okay? You know something when the hypotenuse was 2, but not the adjacent leg, okay? So, what to do? Well, for this particular one, I'm going to fill this in with theta, because you know what? I don't know what theta is, but that's not the final answer that I'm looking for. I now have to go find sine of that. So guess what? This whole thing right here can be now used to fill in with theta. So now we can go, hey, sine of theta is, oh my goodness, this theta class and this theta is the same thing. Can you believe it? And yes, it's in that same quadrant because that's where we drew it from tangent inverse. So guess what the answer is? Sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. I don't know what the hypotenuse is, but I can definitely find it. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A, it's going to be 1 squared is 1, plus b squared is 2, so 2 squared is 4, equals c squared. That's 5 equals c squared, so c is rad 5. So this is radical 5. So sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, which is, we need to rationalize, which is really just rad 5 over 5. So the answer to this whole thing right here comes out to be rad 5 over 5. Okay. So what's different from this example to the ones we did in 7.1? Hi! This example is that when you're looking at the inner component, okay, this will no longer give you an angle that you know from the unit circle. But that doesn't mean you can't find an answer. What you need to do is now this angle is theta, an unknown theta. and you are now using the ratio, okay? You're using the ratio to find the rest of your solution, okay? Let's try that again with B. Okay, B. Cosine of sine inverse of a negative 1/3. So because the inner component is sine inverse, I'm going to write sine inverse of x. The domain of sine inverse is negative 1 to 1. The range of sine inverse, we chopped it off, so it's negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Okay, so because this is negative 1/3, that's the x value, and that will be the domain. It's definitely within that domain, so I know I'm going to have an answer. The question is now, how do I get this answer? Okay, so first let's narrow down to a quadrant. Okay, what particular quadrant should your answer come from? Oops, that's not what I want. So that's too fat. So the quadrant that I want, okay, it's negative 1/3. So it's either in quad 1 or quad 4. Because it's negative, I'm going to draw my triangle, this one. Well, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Because I'm in quad 4, this is negative. Well, when you have a hypotenuse at 3, it's not one of the angles we know from our unit circle quiz. So again, this is the one that you're gonna have to think about, hey, can I just give it a random? Can I just give it a random theta and go from here? Yes, you can. So this is theta. Okay, so that means this right here is theta. Okay, so what do I do from here? I go, hey, cosine of that same theta, this theta class is that theta. There's no difference in that at all. So cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. I know hypotenuse, but I don't know adjacent, but I can find it. So again, let's do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so a squared is going to be negative 1. Negative 1 squared is 1. Plus b squared is unknown. C squared is 3. 3 squared is 9. So b squared equals 8. I need to take the square root. So b equals square root of 8, which is really 2 rad 2. So from here, I'm going to write 2 radical 2. So my final answer is positive 2 rad 2 over 3. And the reason it's positive is because, and don't forget the over 3, it's because you're in quad 4. In quad 4, your answer for cosine is positive. Okay. Let's do tangent. Tangent is quite similar. Letter C. Let's do letter C. Letter C is quite similar to letter B. So again, cosine inverse of negative 1/3, it's the inner component. And then once you have an answer for that, you can find tangent of that. Okay. So similarly, this right here, and again, I'm going to highlight this. Okay. This is the domain of cosine inverse, and the domain of cosine inverse is between negative 1 to 1, so I know I'm going to have an answer. And 1/3 is not one of the ratios that we know. So guess what you're going to do? You're going to draw out a triangle in the correct restricted quadrant. Cosine is restricted from 0 to pi, so I'm going to draw it out in quad 2. Okay, and let this be your angle. So cosine is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, we did it just a minute ago about finding that missing leg. So that missing leg is 2 rad 2. Okay, so how we found it was right there. So now I have this triangle. This whole thing is then just theta. Okay, whatever it is, it's just theta. And that theta is this right here. So now let's find tangent of theta. Tangent is going to be opposite, which is 2 rad 2, over adjacent, which is negative 1. So let's simplify that. Tangent of theta equals negative 2 rad 2. So the final answer, class, is negative 2 rad 2. All right, so this is the end of our video notes. We will continue it next time.